Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the NASB Diadem reference edition from Cambridge. And this is the 1995 NASB. And it's an enlarged version of the Pitt Minion, which is this little Bible here. We'll compare them in the next video. I'll show a little bit more in just a second though. So we have a reference edition, center column reference, paragraph format, red letter, and it's got the concordance, the maps. And this one is printed on 32 GSM paper. Let's take a look. I've got brown calfskin. Has a smooth cover. And we'll compare this also to the NASB Diadem. Perimeter stitching. Holy Bible printed on the front. And it's actually stamped in there in gold. There's the spine. Several hub indications. 3 ribbons. And then art gilt edges. Edge lined with synthetic liner. And then here's how it looks against the Pitt Minion. And there's the font size. And we'll do a deeper comparison later, but just a quick idea of what it looks like, of how they look compared to each other. So if you like the Pitt Minion and you need something a little bit larger font, then the Diadem is really what you want. It's a good size. Let's look at the size real quick. It is a 6 1/4 by 8 3/4 by 1. That's a good size for carrying, for handling. 1 pound, 11.4 ounces. So that's a good size. Easy to hold and handle and read. So let's just step through this and see what we have. Edgeline tab. The edgeline tab is a little stiff, so it'll take a little bit to get it to open in the first few pages. Let's see where we open at here. It'll stay open in Exodus with no trouble at all. So in the front, and of course it is a sewn binding. I typically forget to even say that. So in the front we have presentation pages, family pages, and these are on the thick, non-glossy paper. So that paper is easy to write on. So we have the family records, the husband and wife, children, marriages, grandchildren, and then deaths. They're all in red, except for deaths, which is always in black. There's our paper. It is a 32 GSM. And we do have the information here in the front, which I cannot pronounce. So here it is, paper supplied, and then it's from France. I'm not even going to try. I just won't. And then we have, it is produced in the Netherlands by Royal Youngblood. And it's typeset by Blue Heron Bookcraft. Now, it is an 8.2 font with 8.5 leading or leading, however you want to pronounce that. The paper itself has a slightly warm tone to it, so you have a little bit of almost cream color that you see in the gutter. That's my favorite color for paper. Kind of an ivory, not a bright white. I don't really like a bright white. Slightly cream, very slightly cream. So in the front we have chronology of rulers during biblical times, and this covers the Old Testament times and then divides them by Judah and Israel. And then rulers during New Testament times, Roman emperors, rulers of the Herodian territories, governors. So a little bit more information than what you're going to get in the Pitt Minion. It does not have this. Then the preface to the NASB, and that is the 95 edition. Then we have our text. Now the paper is good for reading. It is highly opaque. It's mostly noticeable in the poetic settings. So we have a double column paragraph edition with about 8 words per line. Now that 8.2 font with the 8.5 leading, it does have a little bit of a condensed feel to it, so there are a lot of words on the page. Center column reference, the reference numbers are in bold, so they're easy to find. They stand out really well. And this is the full set of translation footnotes. Since there are so many references, they can't be placed near their verses. So what they do is, when they're more than what will fit on the page, they go under the last verse on the page. This does cause you to have 2 places to look, but it's usually easy to do because you know that when you get close to the end of the text, your references are most likely going to be at the bottom. And you can tell that at a glance. Section headings are in italics. They're not bold or anything, so they don't stand out, so they're easy to ignore, but they're there if you want them. Verse numbers are a little bit small. They're kind of hard to find, so if you're trying to find something really quick, it might take a second. For example, if I'm looking for verse 16, I might have to, right there it is, just an extra second or two. It's not a big deal. It does take some time to get used to it. And there's a poetic setting. So this does have the poetic setting, and here's an example of a page that doesn't have too many references. When it doesn't have so many that they won't fit in the column, those for the left column are at the top, those for the right column are at the bottom. Books start on the page where the previous book left off. We'll see that as we go. Here's the poetry. Now, poetry does have a lot of lines with a single word. And the reason for this is they, rather than trying to divide it in an awkward place, they just continue to the edge of the line and then indent it beyond the standard indenting to show that it continues that line. It's not as pretty as if they had divided it in different places, but I do understand why they've done this. It does look to be printed with line matching. There are a few places where it doesn't quite match up that well, but for the most part it does match up really well. The text itself is about a medium darkness, and it is consistent all the way through. And then here we see Ezra. It does not show letters, personal letters, so it doesn't set them apart from the rest of the text. Something it does set apart from the rest of the text is Old Testament quotes, like this one right here. Old Testament quotes are in all caps, so they stand out. And there's a red letter, about a medium darkness in red. Here's another Old Testament quote. There's another Old Testament quote. There's some poetry in the New Testament. Quite a few references. That's quite a bit. 95,000 references. So there's a red letter all the way through the book of Revelation. It's a pretty good sized concordance, and it has extra space at the top and bottom. About 1.25 inches top and bottom. I'm not sure why that is, but it is there. This is the concordance from the wide margin edition. Then after the concordance is 20 pages for notes. This is the regular Bible paper. And then there's our list of maps. The colored map index, and they're colored according to, see, black, red, green, blue, purple, orange. So it shows settlements, political, physical land, physical water, travel, and Jerusalem. So you can look at a glance and know what it is you're looking for. It's a good size index. And then here are the maps on the semi-gloss paper. Very colorful maps. I like those. They look good. So that is a interesting Bible. I like this a lot. I like a hand-sized Bible. That's a good Bible for carry. If you don't need a large print and you don't need verse numbers that stand out, this is a good choice. I do find it a little bit of a challenge to find the verse numbers really quick, but it's not terrible. And once you get used to it, it's not a problem. Just whatever you get used to. But this is excellent for reading. So in the next video, I will compare this to the Pitt Minion, the Clarion, and several other Bibles, and see how it stands up, see how it holds up to a few others. Cambridge did supply this in exchange for an honest review. I will place links in the notes so that you can make a purchase if you're interested, and also a link to the written review at BibleBuyingGuide.com and to Cambridge. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.